Slava Isus Christus, Slava Navika, glory be to Jesus Christ, glory be forever. This is Father Basil again, and like I said, I hope to be more consistent with my podcasts. I've had very busy weeks and days and funerals and weddings and everything else that a priest does, but when I find a few minutes every day, I will try to make more podcasts because I think that it's important for us to learn about the faith together and to contemplate upon our relationship with God. So I'm going to read again from this book, The Teaching of Christ, a Catholic Catechism for Adults. And this section is called The End Within Time. Christ lived on this earth a perfect human life, and he called men to adopt his way of life. In the Beatitudes, he teaches men to live now in a new spirit and to find happiness in so living. He calls men out of shallow and meaningless forms of life to the gladness of sharing here and now on a priceless good. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. Then in his joy he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. When Christ taught here on earth, men flocked to him. Indeed, the world has always been drawn towards Christ. Over the centuries, he has been loved by countless millions who have known him only through faith. He has, it is true, been sharply rejected too. Many reject him at least partially in ignorance and misunderstanding, as St. Paul did before God's grace transformed him. Others turn against Christ with deliberate hostility, for they have decided not to abandon the pride and selfishness of their lives, and great goodness embitters those who are enmeshed in sin. But those who, touched by grace, come to know Christ, and who wish to lay aside the burden of their sinful and empty lives, have drawn close to him. For the life he actually lived on earth reveals a goodness so universal that it endlessly attracts the human heart. He has done all things well. Thus, people spoke of him, and they sought from him the way to live. The apostles Christ sent did not preach a miserable life, one to be endured solely in the hope of a future reward. They themselves endured many crosses, and they taught that we must be willing to endure suffering out of love. But their message, Christ's message, was one of joy. They had received from Christ the power to live in a better way, and they proclaimed Christ so that you may have fellowship with us. Christ teaches men how to live on earth in a genuinely human way. The Catholic faith does not lead men to be less human, but to be more human. It urges men to be faithful to the deepest longings of the human spirit, to be bearers of peace, and to be themselves a blessing to others. Christ teaches a good human life, but he is not a mere philosophical teacher of virtue, and his message is not merely a set of wise sayings. He showed what goodness is by the way he lived, and he gives those who approach him the power to become good. But to all who received him, who believed in his name, he gave power to become children of God. He makes men more human by enabling them to draw on the resources of God. He who is the most loved of all men is himself the Son of God, and he lives the life of God as well as the life of man. so also he calls men to become fully human by becoming children of God. Thus, we are called to share on earth in the life of God, by faith to share in the light of God's wisdom, and by hope and love to be drawn into the warmth of his life. Those who have begun to live such a life of faith, hope, and love, sharing in the energy and joy of God's love, ought to share with others the blessing they have discovered. They should pass on to others the good news they have learned, and spread abroad a living witness to Christ, especially by means of life of faith and charity. Christ himself considered this world worth his care. He came into this world to reconcile it with the Father, and he sends those who love him to continue this work among all the nations. There are many creative tasks to be performed in this world. Generous hearts have often longed for the joy of being able to do such good. They desire the blessings asked for in the prayer often attributed to St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me so love. Where there is injury, pardon. Christ teaches those who come to him now how to live lives which are fruitful, lives which make a difference in this world. There is a reign of God, a kingdom of truth and life, of justice, love, and peace to be built on earth. There are men around us who need to be healed and supported. The unstable world needs the anchor of hope. God offers to men the opportunity to be bearers of a healing that goes beyond all human expectation. So what is the truly human life? It is to be children of God. As we read here from John 1:12, to be children of God, to be in God's love forever and ever. That is our goal in this human life. God bless you. Have a good day.